Hello and welcome to Waste Breakfast. We all talk about everything governance, mental health, self-development, and of course, entertainment. My name is Godspeed Israel, and I'm joined by my amazing co-anchors, Joy and Oni. Hi, buddies.
How are you today?
Kini, this one don't start though.
I don't know.
Kilo Shele. Give us that ginger now.
Like
every morning,
you have to like be calm to process yourself for the week.
It's really your Monday
morning.
Me, I do not know this one. Probably because of the place I'm from. In my own place, there's no morning, there's no night. Everywhere is basketballs. Do you understand? I mean, although I woke up this morning, I was a bit down. I think I'm not really okay health-wise, right? But I mean, regardless, I still feel like for every time we come here, these people, I mean, you guys don't need to know, the viewers don't need to know that it's a Monday morning. They have to feel it.
I don't understand.
That you guys are around.
They need to, they already know that today is Monday and it's a Monday morning. And for those of us, especially those of us in the corporate world, it's always a morning to reflect. It's always a morning to think about the week, to kind of strategize yourself before you even get to strategize with your team. You have to do a lot of strategy within yourself. Okay, how do I mitigate the week to be very efficient at my work?
So is that supposed to be done on Monday or on Sunday evening?
Basically, Sunday evening isn't it? Because really, Sunday evening, you just want to...
Sunday evening, you're still weekending.
Exactly. It's not even just the weekend
you're
vibe
in denial.
of it.
I'm in denial. I'm in
some of us that still work over the weekend.
Okay.
That Sunday evening is just when you want to calm your head. You just want to, you know what, let me finally take a pill, let me sleep, let me relax. Monday morning, we get on it.
What do you think, Goni? Because, I mean, from my own side, right, I feel like all these things you just said, the whole processing, I do it before I sleep on Sunday.
I mean, like I said, it's a Monday morning, but for me, you know, whenever you wake up, you just have to wake up and jumpstart.
It's not wake up and jumpstart for me.
No matter what.
Well, I think that's what
is.
would actually have to probably take in. Maybe it's because for me, right, I literally would just, once I'm about, I feel like I do that every day. So it's not an issue for me. So this week planned out, how you said it, for the fact I'm going to, oh Jesus, plenty words at the same time. So if I'm to plan out this week, I do it before I sleep. Right? So when I'm about to lie down, and the sleep is already in my eyes, you see me doing everything. Okay, how's the Monday going to be like? How's my Tuesday going to be like? How's my Wednesday going to be like? And again, I feel like for every time I wake up with inspiration. Do you get? So same goes to I think there was a time we were talking about our clothing. I wake up with inspiration. I feel, oh no, I think I'm inspired to be at this. Let's do this. You know? So,
Amen
that's how I feel.
Amen
so yeah, today we'll be discussing the topic youth leadership in nation building. But before we dive into this intriguing subject, let's take a moment to catch up on the latest headlines around the globe. Please stay with us. You're still watching Waste Breakfast. I'll be taking you on a captivating journey across Africa with The Punch, Nigeria's prime newspaper. The major headlines read soldier killing, Tinubu, Senate orders manhunt for killers, troops comb wearing communities, President condemns attack, says the defense headquarters has full authority to bring anyone responsible to justice. Senate retired generals, other films demand tough actions against killers, condole with military. And above the masthead, federal government eye $1 billion, World Bank loans for internally displaced persons, agree. Strike, Senior Staff Association of Nigeria Universities, Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, vow to ground Basaites, government friends ignorant. Federal government plans talk with Ghana. Authors to protect undersea cables. At the bottom, we have consumers lament point of sale, which is the POS machine, shortage at Lagos discounted food market. Senate warns against supplementary budget excess loans. Adopted editor's wife cries for help. Says husband easy going. Lastly, textile import. 7 others gobble 1.4 trillion after Central Bank Nigeria ban lift, sorry. So that's all on the headline for the Punch newspaper. Now, the one that piqued my interest is the major headline as usual that reads, Soldiers killing, Tinubu, Senate orders manhunt for killers, troops worrying communities. So what the headline is saying here is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and the Senate on Sunday ordered the military to apprehend the killers of 16 Nigerian army personnel who were on their journey to peace mission, right, to the Okama community in the Ugeli South local government area of Delta State. Now, in carrying out this order, it was gathered that on Sunday, the military combed the Warren communities and arrested a lot of persons, including the 3 prime suspects, who they believe caused the chaos that happened in Delta State. So literally, that's all on the headline for the Punch newspaper. Let's hear you, Oni.
Okay, so I'll be moving away from the African continent as usual to an international spectrum, and today's news reads from The Independent, a UK newspaper. So firstly, we have Steve Harley, frontman of the 70s rock band Cockney Rebel, dies of cancer at age 73. We then have Navalny's widow joins protests over Putin shams Russian elections. And least but not last, for the main headline, we have treated in hospitals, then dumped on the streets to sleep rough. So obviously, the main headline that stands out to me today is the treated in hospitals, then dumped on the street to sleep rough. It states that thousands of cancer and stroke patients are being discharged from the NHS hospitals every year with nowhere to live. And data obtained by The Independent reveals that over 4,200 vulnerable patients were discharged with no fix aboard in just 1 year after getting a treatment in NHS. And to me, this is just kind of, it's kind of sad because, I mean, these are patients who obviously have come to NHS to seek help and they're being discharged to no home, to being houseless. And this is a patient, we're talking about cancer patients, stroke patients, and all types of patients. And I just feel like something needs to be done about that because, I mean, we have to help the needful.
That's a fantastic one. I mean, we literally have to help people that are in need. I think that's a good one. Let's hear your headline.
All right, so still on the international spectrum, I will be gathering you this morning from the Guardian newspaper, the United Kingdom. And the major story reads, Watchdog condemns NHS culture of cover-up. And beneath the newspaper at the bottom left, I have Sunak faces new round of leadership speculation. And besides that, I have acts of defiance before Putin claims election win. Now, what is really, really standing out for me in the story is the major story that reads, Watchdog condemns NHS, that's National Health Service culture of cover-up. And it will interest you to know that, I mean, this is exactly what Oni just talked about, that there's a lot of cover-up that's going on and cancerous people are dying. Exactly, and they're trying to, they detect somebody with cancer and they just lease the person out just like that. And for reasons best known to them, I have no idea. So for me, what is really interesting here is, if in Nigeria we can complain that our infrastructures are just not helping, our facilities are not helping, the government doesn't really look proper into our health situation. Let's talk more of the United Kingdom, Great Britain. National Health Service is covering up, and it's not just any other sector. This is the health sector we're talking about. This has to do with the life of people, right? And it's just a whole lot for me. I don't want to go deep into the story because it's exactly what Oni just read. I didn't even know that was what she was going to pick.
I mean, you guys are international.
But aside being international, we literally read different newspapers. So this is just to let you know that it is getting
global.
The major of the news, and I see it's a problem that the health sector, especially when it has to do with cancer. Okay, there's a problem.
How do you discharge people
how do you
no
just
home?
randomly discharge people with
To no
cancer?
home, no house.
And you're covering up for that. And my question is, okay, what do you stand to gain by doing that?
Are you sure probably they don't have the right facilities to take care of this person?
That is a problem. You know, a lot of times we literally look at Nigeria so much and we say, you know what, Nigeria's one is still bad. And I told a lot of people, see, when it comes to Nigeria, you have not seen corruption. Nigeria's corruption is not as deep as that compared to what's going on outside the country. It's just a problem of Nigeria has this issue of putting it's citizens' needs as priority. Okay. They don't care about that. They just want to do about their own governmental system, and that's all. Whereas over there, they, no matter what goes on in their political space, citizen health and citizens' needs are top priority to them. That's just the difference. I mean, come on, in a government where citizen is kept as number one, who cares about what's going on? That's my business, but as well, do what you want to do. But yeah, what I'm just here to say this morning is that you guys need to be better, up your game. Cancer is not something you need to just joke around with. There's really nothing to cover up. Deal with the budgets. I don't know what's going on there, but please just deal with it, and let's make the world a healthy place to always live in.
So yes, I mean, Joe has already done the conclusion. You can see that things are really happening globally. Truthfully, things are really happening globally. So yes, we'll be going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving straight to the topic of today. Get ready to shake the table. Please stay with us.
Security is rooted in abject poverty.
Absolutely.
Ethnicity, religious bigotry, and all of that. So until we address all of that, we must understand these root causes and find a lasting solution to poverty. Poverty, I mean, talking solutions, it's not about giving stipends of 5,000 naira as empowerment. It's not going to solve anything because 5,000 naira is going to finish. And then tomorrow they come back. They're back on the street. Yeah. If a policeman lives in the environs of where he's policing, these people are not strangers. They're your neighbors. Yeah. And then it drives home the point that one day it could be your child.
Of course.
Thanks for staying with us. Today we'll be discussing the topic, youth leadership in nation building. Remember, you can join this conversation by either sending us an SMS or a WhatsApp message to 081 384663. I repeat, 081 384663. And yes, please call in. The number to call is 070 25 007749. I repeat, 070 25 007749. So yes, youth leadership in nation building. I know before now we've spoken about the fact that the youth are not always in the leadership space, right? It has always been said that, oh, you will never see them, probably because of their lack of interest or, one or two things. So that brings me to this, where it says young people are made up of around 76%, right? When we talk about the people that are voting, when we talk about the people that are voting, people that are newly registered, like newly registered voters are 76% for the youth. Now, 40% from that 76 are students. These persons are students. So that brings me to the fact that I actually feel like you would always see the youth want to triumph or want to get into the leadership space. So probably there are certain reasons why we are not there. So that takes us to why youth are not in the political space or in the leadership space. And do you think there are necessary facilities that need to be there in order for the youth to be in this leadership space? Joy, let's hear you.
Okay, so for me, right, I first of all want to start from the point to say that Nigeria, as of current census status, states that we are about 200 million people in the country as a state. And then it's interesting to know that out of that 200 million people, 60% of the population are youth. That's to say that we are about 80 million youth in the country. Now to the math, how many it's left. Now, one thing about leadership, it's that it's not, I usually say it's not about the elections. The elections is almost like the last phase. It's almost the last lap of the event. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, are you interested? What is the level of interest of youth getting into leadership positions? It's one thing to say, I want to become a leader in the country. It's another thing to think, do I have the interest to really become a leader? Because what we are suffering right now in this country, in this government, is that we have a lot of people who just want to be leaders, but don't have the interest of leading. That is the major problem we are having.
I want to stop you right there, Joy.
To say what?
That, like, I'm going to say this, like, you know, when you ask the question, like, is it a lack of interest? Or do you think, like, I'll say this one more time, no, it is not a lack of interest. I could tell you hands down that there are many youths who do want to be involved in these political spaces and participate in leadership in the country. What the issue is the older generation, not just that, also the awareness of corruption and also the fact that we as the youth are not being empowered enough. There is no lack of interest. It is lack of empowerment, corruption going on in the country, and lack of the older generations willing to, you know, understand and hear the voice of the youths. That's what I would say.
And then I ask you, who wants to empower you?
It has to be the older generations and plus yourself.
So then,
And
put me through who empowered Nnamdi Azikiwe, who empowered Anthony Nahoro, who empowered Yakubu Gowon, who empowered Shegun Shagari.
We're talking about times as of current times.
It is not a, no.
Actually, the same
no, it's not the same. And back then, those people didn't have a choice because back then it was fight for your country or be taken away. Like,
so right now you think we should not fight for our country?
I'm not saying we're not fighting. I'm saying that we are not being empowered enough. There's a difference.
That is bringing me back to the same question.
There is literally a difference.
Who are you? It's a different thing to say we are not empowered. Okay,
We're not
this
empowered.
is literally who we are expecting to empower us. And then we hit it straight to the set of people and say, we are waiting on you to empower. So the question now is, who are you waiting to empower you to get you into the space of leadership?
See, you need to honestly listen to what I'm saying. I'm not saying we're waiting, right? I'm saying there is a lack of empowerment. It's not as if we're not trying ourselves or trying to take up that role. But then again, the older generation who seems to think that we youths are oblivious to the whole leadership things and who just don't want to give us that same opportunity, that's the issue. They are not completely empowering us. We are empowering ourselves. Like, we youths, we take steps ourselves. But, like, they're not helping out the way that they should be. We're meant to be learning from them, and they're meant to be giving us, you know, advice and showing us like the steps and the way, but they're not doing that.
So who's going to show you advice? The same set of people we are complaining about that they're not working
They're
well.
not working
they really
well.
want to give you advice, and then you
Joy,
think they will not advise you or lead you astray.
No,
do you understand that God for that reason has been an
starts with
issue?
your fundamental education.
Exactly.
And they're not doing that.
Exactly. Who is
And
going
they're
to
not doing
educate you?
that.
The first question is,
The
how many
schools,
youths in Nigeria
the
right now?
communities.
Calm down.
You
The
guys
first
will have to
question
calm
is,
down.
no, I didn't want to shout, and really, I'm not in that
go
game
on.
space
Go
to
on,
do this.
Joy.
But
Please
the
only
first
answer
question now is, how many youths in Nigeria can proudly say that I know the Constitution back to back? I know what it entails. I know how to use my right. Because definitely,
Lots of
if
them
you
know that.
understand the Constitution,
Yeah, a lot of us
Lots
know
of them
that.
know
Yeah, a lot of us know that.
It's true.
Joy,
Lots of
stop-
them know that.
Stop being oblivious to what's actually going on
We
in
were
today's
taught,
community.
bro.
should
Like,
I do your national TV this morning?
do me now.
Joy,
Do me and do you, man,
You
no
know-
vex.
You know the Constitution requires, my dear.
my
First of all, I'm not,
Joy,
no.
I don't want us to deviate, right? I want us to actually hit the nail on the head, to be sincere. Why are we not in the political space? Why are we not in the leadership space in Nigeria? And I hear her when she say there's not empowerment. Now you, Auntie, what do you think we are not in the leadership space?
And I'll still ask her again, who are you expecting to empower you? But before I get to that, let me continue
The
with the
community,
conversation.
the
Please
people,
allow her finish.
education.
Oh, yeah, Joy, drop
Interesting. Say we
it.
were
Drop
looking
it.
for government. So no problem.
Drop
All right. So for me, right,
Yeah.
the reason why we might see that youth are not in the space of power, I'd say it again, and I just finished saying that, number one, how many youths can say they have the knowledge of the Constitution and what it entails?
Okay.
So it's one thing to say, I want to lead, but do you know what rule, what laws, what regulation govern the place you want to lead? Are you aware that you cannot be a president if you are 35 years old? Are you aware that you cannot be a governor if you're 25 years old? Are you aware that you cannot even be a local government chairman if you are not up to 25? Yes, the Constitution says from the age of 18, you
can
have the
vote,
right
yeah,
to
and
vote and be
be
voted
voted
for.
for.
However, if you're not up to, the same Constitution tells you that if you're not up to 25 years, you cannot be a local government chairman. So then again, I ask, who are you expecting to empower you? If you are not understanding that there are basic steps to these things. I know that, yes, right now we're in a space of our political system is, I don't want to use that word because it's really not proper for being on air, but I know the word that is in my mind, and let me just say it to myself. Let only myself just hear what I just said right now, and I heard myself clearly. But we need to come to terms and realize that there are so many things that are going on, and it's not by agitating, it's not by shouting. We have seen it clearly. The NSAS protest taught us one big lesson, that it is not about shouting. These guys are not ready to even give you. You already know the reason why they are there. And you know the reason why, you already know the activities they are carrying out there. So let's come back to the table. Let's educate ourselves more on our citizenship rights. Let's educate ourselves more on our leadership qualities. How many of us can say we proudly possess what it means to be a true leader? It's much more about sitting in the space of position. I said it last time on this set, and I'm going to say it again. Are we empathetic enough? It's a lot being a leader, a huge lot. It's a huge responsibility. But anyways, I'll just calm down before Oni will destroy me with her eyes. Because I'm already using my side eyes to look at Oni and she's about to crush me down. Let me calm down and I'll come back to this.
So, I mean, I hear you guys, right? I hear you when you say the fact that we are not even trying on our own. It's more like we still have the lack of interest. I mean, it's one thing to be in the leadership space. It's another thing to know the roles and qualities of being a leader. I hear you on that. Which brings me to this generation, right? This recent youth. Do you think they are fit to lead Nigeria, or they are inexperienced? Let's start with you, Oni. What do you think? Do you think they are fit to lead Nigeria, or are they inexperienced?
So answering that question, I would say yes and no.
Yes and no.
At the same time.
This one you want to stay in between. You don't want to call. You don't want Judge to come.
No, it's not right. No, it's not that. I would say yes and no at the same time, because I mean, like, with today's youth, I mean, just like I would say, with the older generations, like, we're a bit different from, you know, from them, and there are certain things that they suffered from that we're not suffering from, and there are certain things that was okay back in their times, and right now it's not okay now. So I would say, like, in terms of, are we ready for leadership position, I would say yes, but do we fully, or are we fully able to take up that role as of right now? I would say it's a bit technical, because like I said, there are certain things that are going on in the country, or there are certain things that we as youths are meant to understand, are meant to be, you know, explained or passed down from the older generations, but they're not playing their part. Because, like I said, you can't just, someone like me, right? Let's say if I want to run for a position, right? Obviously, I'll need some sort of direction, some sort of help, but like, they're not giving that to us. So in terms of that, I would say no, because it's not as if like we fully have that direction or that guidance. But when it comes to our abilities, our idea, our passions, our egos, I'll say that, yeah, we can fully take up that role of being in leadership positions, but we still need direction and guidance.
Okay, I hear you when you say we can, but we still need
direction and guidance.
Let's hear you, Joe. What do you think? Do you think they're inexperienced, or they are literally ready and they are fit to lead Nigeria?
Basically, right, for me, I'm going to be coming from the space of we are fit, but I don't know if we are ready. And then again, about experience, I want to say I am not sure about that. I will not say yes, I will not say no. I'd rather say I am not sure about that. And the reason is that I literally had to, in fact, when I got about this topic, you know what flashed into my mind? I said, you know what, MJ, remove Gen Z from your eye. Remove whatever it is that is going on right now. Just picture it from a normal citizen angle. Picture it from a normal human being who's up to 18 years that understands his fundamental human rights and understands the Citizens Act in Nigeria. And let's look at it very well. Are we truly ready to be leaders? If we are even empowered at the end of the day and given the position, given the opportunity, are we ready to be leaders? And I'll say no. And this is where I'm coming from. Now let's take it back to history. The likes of Nnamdi Azikiwe that fought for independence, they didn't start by waiting till they were done, and then there was one person that just lectured them or say, this is how you become a leader, this is how you don't become a leader, this is what you do, this is what you don't do, taking them through the baby steps. They literally started fighting for independence from Student Union Council.
They had no choice.
Now, let's calm down first. Let's calm down. Now, from their student union activities, let's take it now. What's the student union activities in our different universities like?
I feel you. I feel
Which,
you.
which reminds me the tagline for the late president Umar Musa Yar'Adua's government. I said the change begins with you. Because exactly the same thing we are complaining about the government happens in the Student Union Council, but nobody is ready to look at it. Nobody is ready to talk about it because we feel that, okay, they're not the ones ruling the nation. But we keep forgetting that these are the same people that are coming afterwards to get in there. So how do you think in the heavens or in the earth that there's going to be a change if from the grassroots we have a problem and we're not ready to deal with it? And I keep saying it, if you're thinking that you're going to uproot corruption in a blink of a second, you are joking.
I have an answer to Joy.
I wasn't asking a question.
No, don't worry. I have an answer to you.
But I was not asking a question.
I have an answer to you regardless.
But I was not asking a question. I have an answer to you.
Please.
Only you need to like breathe.
I have an answer to you.
See, you said this Nigeria, and we get that. Let me keep with this. Let me break it down for you. For real, for you to deal with whatever menace you think is going on. Yes, corruption is a vital tool, which is the reason why a lot of you are not interested. What is the reason? That's like, what's there for me if I'm going to go and join the set of corruption? But I tell a lot of people that if you cannot uproot corruption from its roots, which is really not visible, but we could try. We could literally try. I believe a lot in trial. If we can't uproot it from the roots, we are joking. Want to remove a stem, I think it won't grow back in double folds the next day. Don't worry, it's being watered from the roots. Until we check that, please. We'll keep going around in circles.
Let's hear yours, Tony. Come on, bring it on, bring it on.
I just have when I say I have an answer to your question, because Joy said, what difference would it make if the youths are leading to deal? Like, what would we be able to do different, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'll give you, let me say 4 reasons why I feel like youths leading in today's, or youths taking up leadership in today's positions would be very much beneficial than what's currently going on. Yeah. And number one, I would say my number one point is ego. So let's talk about back then in the older generations.
Okay.
We know that back then, I'm not trying to be, but yeah, back then, we know the men used to beat their wives and beat their children, and they didn't really used to have that much respect for women, right? Yeah. They had like this big ego. But like relating this back to our time now, we don't stand for that. We're all for, you know, women empowerment. We're all for, you know, like there are things that, like we don't believe is right? That's number one, ego. Because, and I said that this literally affects the whole political space, because then you see men who have obviously gotten to these positions based on ego, and then obviously in the whole thing, like they're not treating women right, they're not empowering women, and that has also affected our community. And I'll move on to machismo kills a man, right? Do you know what that is?
Well, tell us, please.
So it literally shows that the older generation did not value women as much as we did today, and it probably shows the contemporary leadership history of Nigeria. And that's why I feel like there are problems, because in leading a country, I mean, you have to, like, first of all, start with yourself. If you're a man who wants to lead a country, you're a man who doesn't have respect for your people or for the women or for the people in the country, then things are not going to go right. That's number one. Number two, I'm going to give you a whole quote. So see, passion is the sin of youth, right? Pride is the sin of the middle age, right? And prejudice is the sin of the older age. So here's it. The sin of the passion could be harnessed to create something good, but prejudice, now exhibited by that generation who are now old, simply locks out talent. And I'm talking about us youths. We have a lot of talent, and a lot of talents that could be beneficial to today's society. Okay. But based on that prejudice of the older generations, they don't give us that opportunity to obviously, you know, step up and say, okay, yes, I can do this, I can do that, I can do so and so and so. And they're more so judgmental. They literally look at you as a person and judge you based on whether it's your looks, your religion, your thoughts, or wherever you come from. And that's also wrong. I mean, like, you can't be in a place of position of leadership and then you're prejudiced or you're prideful. Where's that going to get you? I mean, we youth literally have new ideas. We have talent. When I say talent, I mean talents beyond talents. And obviously, because like it's not, or it wasn't right back in their time. Looking at it now, it's just like, but then what Nigerians fail to understand is that we're literally in the 4th industrial revolution. I mean, things are changing. You can't keep using like the old laws or the old ways to try and govern new society. And least but not last, new ideas, right? Nigerians need younger leaders who are also futuristic thinkers, right? Not those who are typewriter generation, mentally thinking about manufacturing. Like, we need new minds, new thinkers, creativity. That's what we need.
I hear you when you say, oh my gosh, you gave us a whole list. But you know, when she talked about that whole human thing, about the previous generation not, how do I put that now? Not giving the women that respect. I think I actually agree with that, because, I mean, you would agree with me that women are more like, women are more populated than men in Nigeria. Or do I say globally? Because, I mean, we have more women than men. So, I mean, if you are not, imagine now that you are the man and you're the president, for example, and almost everybody, I mean, your people or the people that you're leading are women. Now, if you don't respect women, it's more like you don't respect your people. And trust me, that's not what democracy is about.
It was okay back in the days, but right now it's very unacceptable. So yes, I mean, you can't beat a woman and get away with it.
I agree on you with that. But I think Joy has something to say. You don't think the young people would change Nigeria for the better? Is that what you mean? Let's hear yours.
I ask you a simple question. Back in the days, they beat women. They don't beat women now.
It's not as if they don't beat women now, but it's like less common, and it's literally unacceptable. Back in the days, it was literally like, it wasn't seen as a wrong. No, it wasn't. But nowadays, you can't do that and get away with it. I mean, and obviously that type of behavior would reflect in political history. It would so reflect.
Okay. So what's the connection and what's the relationship between maltreating a female gender as opposed bringing young people? When they say young people, are you people, that's why I want to ask you, maybe I'm the one that's not understanding what's going on at this table.
Okay.
Are you speaking to young male or young female, or you're looking at younger generation, that's including the male and the female?
Okay, so what I hear only say is the previous generation, right? So the men in particular, we're not giving the women respect. So it was more like there's no proper governance or leadership.
No.
I mean, it was more from the men. The women were not even doing anything. But in this our recent generation, we as youth now, we as the young people, we literally zero tolerance to all of those things.
But
we are the leaders of tomorrow.
I understand.
I get what you mean.
I get your part. I want leaders, not no vex. So do you understand that that's women marginalization and maltreatment came from a cultural angle and not a governmental angle?
Of course. But would you agree with me that here in Nigeria, we literally lead both with culture and religion?
Yeah, it will play.
Yes or no?
There's no way it would not play
out.
No? There's no way it would not play out in leadership positions. I mean, back then, men were just gra. I mean, ego. I can marry 3 wives. Like, bro, it would cause problems. It would literally cause problems when you don't have that respect for women, especially knowing that your community is made up of women and children. Like, what are you trying to tell the younger generations? Or what message are you trying to pass across?
But we have young monarchs in the country right now who are still married to more than one wife. So what are we talking about here now?
No, if you're talking about that
one,
I don't think I
I will still literally bring you guys back to the point so we don't go out of circle.
Sure.
We're looking at leadership and not women marginalization here.
You cannot do those out in the open. It's not out. You cannot do it out in the open.
My goodness, please, how many women does Oni of Ife have? Let's start from there. Hey. It's in the public. I mean, it's in the private sector.
Please,
Joy,
please, we're talking about it's not village. Please.
Joy, please help me hold your toy. Oh my God, I know for sure that you're literally catching. I mean, calm down. Oni, please. Oh my God, I'm enjoying this table. I mean, the table is really shaking. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, we'll dive in straight to, continuation. Please stay with us.
In today's dynamic global economy, small and medium enterprises stand as unsung hero, playing a pivotal role in driving economic growth, fostering innovation, and creating employment opportunities for millions. Now, according to the World Bank, 600 million jobs will be needed by 2030 to absorb the growing workforce. And believe me when I tell you that the SMEs will be the major employer. My name is Oluwadamilola Ibitori, and I'm on a mission to uncover and reveal the stories of incredible entrepreneurs who are changing the game in the business world. I'll be sitting down with passionate and innovative business leaders as they share their journeys, challenges, futuristic plans, and successes. SME Chats, spotlighting inspiring entrepreneurs, one episode at a time.
Thanks for staying with us. So yes, I mean, if you're just joining us, don't forget that it has actually been an interesting one. And yes, the topic of today is youth leadership in nation building. So if you're just joining us, that's the topic we're dishing out. How do I put that now? I'm looking for the right word. Dissecting, you know. Yes. So, I mean, in continuation to the whole shaking tables, I want to ask, in this whole leadership thing, I mean, we are talking about the fact that if youth are experienced to lead Nigeria, if they are fit to lead Nigeria or they are inexperienced, right? So, yes, if you're just joining us, please, don't forget to call in or phone in. The numbers are there. So, yeah, I want to ask, do you think education has a role to play when it comes to the youth? I mean, not sure. I feel like in Nigeria right now, the educational system is a bit shaky. I mean, I just read in the news that they're going on strike. Can you imagine? So yes, but I mean, let's leave that aside. But the main point is, do you think education has a role to play when it comes to the youth, the youth fitness to lead Nigeria and all of that? Do you think it has a role to play? Let's hear you, Oni.
Yes, obviously education has a role to play.
Don't forget that everybody thinks it's calm.
No,
the same youths that want to lead are the ones thinking that education is a scam.
I believe
but
so.
Then again,
like I said, yes, it is literally the basic foundation one needs to have that understanding. I mean, let's talk about primary school education, right? That's when you learn about the history of the country, all of that, the governance, blah, blah, blah. Moving on to secondary school education, you then go into learning like politics and like the ins and outs of like politics, right? Obviously, you need these foundations in order to understand fully and be equipped with the knowledge you need to take up this leadership position. So yes, education is quite important, but is it just education that's important? The answer is no. We also have your skills, your ability, your personality. All of those also fall into place, aside apart from education, but that's just like the ground roots you need in order to, like, you know, understand and take up those roles. So yeah.
I hear you.
It's very important.
Perfect. I hear you. Let's hear you, Joy. This one you're shaking your head.
But it's making me enjoy myself here.
Okay, now.
So basically, I'd say that education is, you want to really, really specify what education are you looking at. So if you want to say that, you want to talk about the primary education, the secondary education, and of course the university, the tertiary education. I'll tell you that there's a whole lot going in that space that leadership cannot be taught under those few years.
Okay.
So you don't expect you're going to deal with that, and that's it for you. You have to move a step further. Now, in primary school, we all know that you do how many subjects in how many
About
years?
12,
do you
13.
understand? So one person is doing, okay, let me take it out of primary school and let's get into secondary school. One person is doing government, the same person is doing biology, the same person is doing chemistry, the same person is doing literature in English, the same person is doing mathematics. See, God is one brain this person has. Even if you come down to the university, you're already going into the field you want to be, right? You want to be a doctor. You're not coming to come and learn Nigerian culture when it comes to reading medicine. So, what kind of education now are we looking at when it comes to youth leadership? Simply, there are organizations, right? There are associations that are moving the bill, that are moving the notion for young people to be incorporated into the leadership sector of Nigeria. We have the Youth Not Too Young to Run movement. We also have the Enough is Enough Nigeria. We have the citizenship campaign. I think there's one more there's a electoral college. A lot of these things are out there. And this is help you to understand the quality you need to be a leader, helps you to, first of all, absorb and inculcate in you your rights as a citizen. Because if you don't know your rights, how do you want to lead? You need to, a lot of, we don't, see, let's not lie to ourselves. So many of us don't know our rights in this country. We always think that, okay, it's my right to wake up in the morning, it's my right to go and press ballot box. It's what I want to vote, and that's the end of it. Do you understand that you have a right to question your leaders? So if you don't know that you have a right to question your leaders, by the time you become a leader and they start questioning you, you have a problem. Why are you questioning me? I'm your leader here. So you see that it's not just about, let's go to school, let's do primary education, let's do secondary. We need to incorporate ourselves a lot into all these associations to get the right education, the right information, because information is what will help a lot. And that's how you know how to communicate better as a leader. So basically, that's it for me.
So, I mean, I hear you perfect. I mean, that takes us to the mentorship that I feel like the young people need. So who do we look up to as mentors? Who do we look up to as helpers? People that would help us, that will educate us. Since the fact that education is not enough, the primary, the secondary, the tertiary, is not enough. It's not enough. How's that? It's not enough knowledge for you to be able to take a leadership role. Who do we meet now for this knowledge? Let's hear you, Oni.
Like Joyce said, the communities, like there are certain communities that you go to, and then obviously you learn certain things. And apart from just the communities, I mean in Nigeria, if you ask me if I have a leader that I'm looking up to right now, no offense, the answer is no.
Nobody.
So none of these leaders are really mentoring me. But when I talk about my mentors, I mean I do have mentors. I have people that I learn certain leadership traits from and skills from. I have my parents, I have my mother. Apart from that, I have certain people that obviously I look up to and I'm like, yes, okay, when I grow up, this is what I want to be like, this is how I want to be like. I also have political leaders in other countries that I look up to and I learn from. But like I said, when we're talking about Nigeria, like that's what I mean, like we are not being empowered by the leaders who are actually meant to be empowering us, and that's the problem, because we can't even look up to them and say, okay, like this is what I want to be, or like these are the steps I want to follow, because nobody wants to follow the steps that they are taking right now that is causing today's current situation and current problem. So obviously, like, mentorship goes a long way, and when you ask them what we could look up to as youths, I mean, there are not many mentors in this country, not many political mentors, but then aside from that, I mean, you could always have a mentor, or you could always find someone, whether it be from the internet or whether it be from anywhere. You could always just find someone who is like that set idea of what you want to be, of what you want to replicate, and and then just different like communities and things like that.
Fantastic idea. What did you say? This one like you concur. Joy, let's hear you.
Agree with me. Agree with me.
Yes, I pretty much agree with what Oni just said.
Yeah.
If you ask me, Joy, do you want to be a leader in Nigeria? I'll tell you yes. But do you have anybody you're looking to? I'll tell you bloody no.
Hey.
I'm sorry for using that word. I really do that damage control. I'm really sorry. But no, I do not have anybody currently I'm looking up to say this is the person I want to be like. In terms of political leader. They're not rich.
They're really not rich. Are you not seeing
They're
what's
not
going on?
rich. Nah, I don't want to live that kind of lifestyle. I don't want to have that kind of traits. Because one thing we don't really understand about mentoring is that if you have a mentor, it means that it might not be you want to say your life is basically exactly how this person is. But by default, you would one way or the other find yourself following the footprints of that person because you're learning from that person. You look up to that person to be who you want to be. Most of the times, you're trying to get information, again, trying to get traits from that person. So he's going to instill in you what he has. He will instill in you what he doesn't have. Nah, it's not possible. So what I think that can happen there is, in the space of where we don't have mentors right now, I don't want to say good leaders, but no, we have good leaders, and you're coming up. Now, in the space where we don't have mentors that we say we want to look up to in the current government, so what do we do? There has to be a solution at the end of it. Now, I know that one of the factors that is really, really influencing the apathy of youth in leadership is that, God, to be a leader in this country, you need like 100 million to start with. And I asked myself a question, why do I have to pay that amount of money to lead my nation, to lead my people, to instill or to give my own part of my service to the country? And they say, NYC, come and do serve your fatherland, which is actually beautiful. A beautiful scheme. If we can even utilize that scheme, it will help a lot in building great leaders in this country, but let's not deviate. Now, I've listened to a few political leaders in the country, across the country right now, that has that got into the space of leadership or that got into the space of politics from the private sector, and you will see the difference. The difference is very, very clear. Those of them that leave the private sector and get into the public sector, you will see that their work mannerism is totally different. The way they approach things, the way they take out actions, their blueprints of work is totally different. So how about I come back into the corporate world, I come back into the private sector, look out for leaders there, and then take them as my mentor, learn from those ones, and then instill all those characters I learned, all those traits I learned, and then take it into the the public sector now, and then become the leader who I envisioned myself to be. So it's not just to say there's nobody that I can look up to in the public sector to become a leader. Let's come back to the private sector. We have a lot of good leaders in here that we can look up to, and then we don't want to do what?
Give us names.
They don't pay me for advice. I would like to be I understand.
No, your own mentor now, you yourself.
Go and come and share mentor for you people. Go
I don't
and
understand. Your mentor can be my
that is how we know.
Mentor. Gatekeep your
Exactly.
mentor.
That's how we know good leaders. See, you have to do your research. You have to do there's a whole lot of work that goes into being a leader. I want to be a leader. I am up game for it. It has been something I've always envisaged for right from when I was in primary school. Most of my teachers said it, but that's not the conversation we're having right now. So to that aspect, President So to that aspect, I have several people in several sectors: business sector, media sector, as far back as marital sector, all around. I've had people I'm placing there like a shelf. So if I need information, I need to learn something about the business, I know who to draw from. If I need to learn something about the media space, I know who to draw from. If I want to learn something about leadership, or about citizen engagement, about the country, I know who to draw from. So as much as we can try to do all of this, it will help a lot in instilling the right value and the right system into us. So by the time we're coming out there into the public sector, we are coming out to make a difference, and we keep dashing out that difference. And that's it, and that's in period.
Amen. I feel like Oni has some finance to say. Do you want to drop it?
No.
You don't have any finance?
No.
You don't want to, are you being serious? You don't want to tell them probably one or two ways, or probably one or two leadership qualities that they should emulate?
Like the leader should emulate?
I mean, Joe already told us the fact that we need mentors, and we should actually get mentors, good mentors from the private sector.
We do need mentors. But in terms of leadership qualities that I feel like should be, do you mean like the current leaders, right? That I feel like should be emulated by the current leaders. I mean, I would say no. I know the word in my head. I just don't want to do you understand? It's just like, I'm just gonna put it as simple as it is. I feel like the leaders of today should more so obviously focus on the people and have that respect for the people rather than just,
respecting themselves
in that high position. I mean, like, respect is reciprocal. You give out respect,
I get it.
You to be respected. I mean, like, and right now they're not. It's like we're here in the society currently suffering, struggling, and dying. And it's like nothing is being done about it for years upon years upon years, and it just needs to stop.
So yes, I mean, we have a caller, guys. Please let's get that. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
How are you? How you doing?
Hi.
What's your name and where are you from?
I'm fine, thank you. My name is Nelly.
Nelly. Hi, Nelly.
Yeah.
From where?
Hi. Hello.
We can hear you. Can hear you, Nelly.
Okay. Concerning the topic this morning, the role of youth leadership in nation building.
Yeah.
Youth, they are energetic. So I think they have a lot to contribute to nation building and economic development, and also social progress.
Yeah.
As the future leaders, I think they have fresh contribution, unlike our old leaders, or they've been doing one particular thing over and over again. So I think the youth leadership can help in building the nation, in the sense that we need a fresh pattern in this country, like a new pattern of helping the country grow or the nation grow. So I think they need to be given a chance to contribute what they have to give to the nation building.
That's
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nelly. I really appreciate it. I mean,
That's literally what
yeah,
I
baby.
just...
And the truth of the game is that, in line with what our caller said, Nelly, it is the practical truth. However, this is how it can work. So I just thought about it.
Okay.
Now, if we're able to push ourselves in there, the Constitution is actually not helping us for now.
What?
The fact that we have to wait till we are 40 years of age before we become a president in this country, that's a problem.
Do you get?
That's a
I
huge
do know.
problem.
I wanted to
And
talk
the
about
truth
that.
is, you cannot
It's
change
not
it
even
if you are
that.
not in there. So how about we try to get ourselves in there and then move the motion to change the Constitution, because it is where you change it, and that's where you can apply, and it would work for us, and then the whole energy comes in.
No.
Only
sorry.
disagree. Let's
Joy,
hear it.
I don't disagree. Joy, stick to your stance. So stick to your stance. Remember when I was telling you why I feel like youth will be able, and you were like, oh no, we're not ready. So stick to your stance. So don't come and join me on the colours agreement. Stick to your stance.
We have to get ourselves in there. We're not looking for who will empower us to get ourselves in there. Try to push yourself in there.
No, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But at the same time, I mean, like, we need to be given the chance. We're not even given the chance. Simple.
That's the point.
Because of like the older generation. That's what I'm saying. So stick to your stance.
You find your chance by yourself.
Stick to
One
your
chance to a
stance.
chance.
So I mean, I
Stick
feel
to your
like
stance.
there are two ways to this thing. So if you find yourself in the leadership space, or I mean around the leadership space, it's important, just like she said, trick your head. Do you understand? So that you can amend or propagate all of these things that are not working, so that it can start functioning. You know, that way we will not have more youth in the leadership space and in the political sector as a whole. So yes, it has been an interesting ride with you guys. We're going on a short break, and when we come back, we'll be diving straight to the book review. Please stay with us. Thanks for staying with us, guys. Yes, this is the book review segment. So the book to be reviewed today is The 48 Laws of Power, authored by Robert Greene. So I'll be taking the 25th law. I mean, we've been talking about those laws for, from 1, and it's 48, and I'm taking the 25th, so yeah. So the 25th law is about recreating yourself. So it says recreate yourself. Create an identity that captures attention. Often this means rejecting societal propagations, you know. Find ways to make yourself seem larger than life by including dramatic actions, gestures, and devices. When you speak, use speed, tone, and information to captivate your audience. So this is actually very simple. If people know you to be dull, if people know you to be, probably they know you in the negative side, it's time for you to start recreating yourself to be a better version of yourself. And trust me, the only way people would see you for a better light, I hear people say, oh, this person thinks I'm wicked, this person thinks I am rude, this person thinks I'm this. I don't think you're that person if you've actually not told yourself that you are that person. So it is one thing to accept what people tell you. It's another thing for you to now put the blame. Do you get? So, I mean, for you to be a better person and for you to recreate yourself, you have to first of all start emulating the good parts and telling yourself that, okay, this is me and I'm a good person. And that way, other people will continue to see the light that's in you. So yes, that's all that's the 25th law on the 48 laws of power. Let's hear your Sony.
Okay, so I'll be taking the 26th law, and the 26th law states, keep your hands clean. And this typically means maintaining an appearance of civility, efficiency, and unspoiledness, which would obviously separate you and yourself from nasty deed. It pretty much just says, appear spotless by using people to disguise your involvement with scapegoating and cat's paw. And obviously, when they say keep your hands clean, right, I mean, when your hands are clean, or like keep your shirt clean, like you have like no stains, like you're seen as someone who's a saint or someone who has not done anything wrong. But whereas like if you don't keep your hands clean, or you're someone who is, you know, doing blah, 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 and blah, you will be judged. I mean, you would not have the same opportunity as someone who is smart and who has used scapegoats and keep their hands clean, rather than someone who, you know, has just done themselves anyhow.
I think everybody should actually pay attention to that law. It's very important for you to be able to strive. You have to, you know, pretend.
It's just like see finish. You have to keep yourself clean in order to avoid that judgment or prejudice from people.
That's an interesting law. Let's hear yours, Joy.
It's quite interesting that we're reviewing 48 Laws of Power and we talk about youth leadership. So to every youth out there that wants to be a leader, go and read 48 Laws of Power.
Straight up.
Digest that book. There are a lot of laws that would help you into becoming a great leader and sitting in the place of power. Now, I'm going to be reviewing the 27th law. It's interesting. We've gone half of the book. Almost half.
I mean...
And it's been really exciting to review this law. The law says that play on people's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Now, the law states that people want to believe. Focus this desire on you by giving them purpose. Be vague and promise them what they want if they follow. Keep people focused on enthusiasm rather than rational, clear thinking. Create rituals and sacrifices for them to perform to prove their commitment. Remember, creating a cult-like following relies strongly on your ability to convince others that you have something they want. And I'll give you a very brief story to relate to this law. When I say creating a cult, they did not say we should go and create cults. Now, the cult states that you have to create a system, a structure where you're able to convince people to believe in what you want, and that's how you can always lead them. Now, I have a friend who I'm working on a project with him, and I keep asking him a question. How were you able to convince this number of people to come together as a team to work on this? And he said, when you're able to sell something, not the future, sell it to them as, look at it, you're already having this in your arms already. That's how people will be able to buy into what you want to do. That's how people will be key into what you want to do. So this brings me to the point of there's a lot of power in communication. How you're able to communicate effectively with your subordinates, that is going to help you a lot. So convincing them and keeping them in that space and that circle, that's going to help you a lot in becoming a true leader who you need to be.
So yes, just like Joy said earlier, as a youth or as, someone aspiring to be in the leadership space, it's important that you read the 48 Laws of Power. So as we're wrapping up this enlightening chat, big thanks to all of our viewers and callers for tuning and calling in. Thank you so much, Nelly. We really appreciate. Today's conversation has really been an enlightening and enjoyable one. Join us again tomorrow for another awesome discussion, packed with even more insight and entertainment. And don't forget to catch the Waste Prime Time at 8 p.m. where wisdom and fun collide to light up your world. So from me and my awesome baddies, it's goodbye for now. We can't wait to chat with you again soon. Until then, stay informed, stay inspired, stay curious, and stay tuned. See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.